Welcome back, and I understand a lot of you are let down. A lot of these packs that you were anticipating, like the F5C, the A6E, the F4S, the MiG-23ML, the MiG-21BIS, were all anticipated and you might have wanted to pick them up. However, that is not the case, and yes, it's a bit of a letdown, but at the same time the packs that are on sale overall are pretty decent. They're not bad, and if you are looking to buy something that is on sale, this is the video for you. If you aren't happy with what is on sale, I'm sorry, there won't be anything here for you. If you are looking to buy anything today and you are looking to support me, buy anything through my link, you get my decal. You can also buy something that isn't on sale and you get a 3% off, but I don't recommend you to buy any of these rank 7 premiums full price. They are overpriced. I would wait personally till Christmas, we get another sale then. But just like right now, I cannot guarantee what will go on sale and what won't. So it's still gonna be a bit of a guess. Won't be covering tanks today. I have no idea. I did them last year, but a lot of them have shuffled. And the person that I normally ask, well, he's asleep because I expected this video to drop this Wednesday, not today. But you know, without further ado, let's get right into it. The Mirage F1C is a plane that's quite okay. If you want to grind friends, it's probably the best pickup that you can do. It isn't the best. The flight performance is just above average, kind of mediocre. And it really only relies on the 2 Magic 2s that it has. The Magic 2s are quite fantastic nowadays, but the 530 Supers that you have, as well as the 550, the 3 big missiles that you can carry on the plane, are essentially not it. It can be used as a multi-role, it can be used for close air support as well, but if you are flying this thing out in Arabi, just know that you are not gonna be that great of a performer, other than the fact that you have 2 good IR missiles and 3 very mediocre ones. Then we have the J35XS, and the J35XS is a bit of a weird one. Since its flight model got changed, it's quite a bit worse than it used to be. It used to be one of the better planes at 10.7. It is still good, it's still somewhat enjoyable, but it relies on the smaller fights because the low amount of countermeasures and just the fact it can't hold its own speed. You do have 6 missiles, they are pretty decent, but because you don't have RWR either, you can't really go to altitude to then dive bomb people. You can't really reliably run chaff because you only have 6 countermeasure pops if you only run the flares. So you really are just very limited. It relies on the smaller fights. Unfortunately, Arabi is about the big team fight, especially at the start. And this is not a plane that you will be carrying in much. However, it can be effective. It's just a little bit of a hit or miss when it comes to the average matchmaker. You are going to be either completely useless or you are going to be an absolute menace. It's a decent grinder. It will get you through the ranks. But I don't think it's that fantastic of a plane. However, in terms of high tier Swedish grind, it's probably the best bet that you are going to be getting. Then we have the Su-25K. This is the rank 6 version. It's a pretty okay, it's a ground attacker, and you might see some planes without flares in the down tier, and then the R60Ms are completely busted. There's really no way around it. Other than that, it's a ground attacker, you know what you're getting into. It's really not that special. Then we scroll down all the way to the F-104S TAF. It's a good plane, it's very fast, it's still one of the fastest planes on the deck, just overall in the game. And especially against everything that you can run into. It has 6 missiles, you can run the IR ones only together with a gun. If you want to carry any kind of radar missile, you will have to sacrifice the gun, and it's really not worth it. However, you will be able to run some bombs on it as you are flying into the battle, because well, it has some pylons left over, and it's fast enough to not really impact your flight performance all that much. So if you are looking for a plane that you can just kind of fly in, bomb a base or 2 and then go fighter mode, it's a pretty good pickup. Then we have the Weizmann Spitfire. It's a Mark 9 LF. Really not much to talk about here. It's a good plane, but I don't think it's worth it. Because the Israeli tech tree at low tier just really doesn't have anything unique other than something like the Sakin. The Israeli tech tree really doesn't become great until you reach the Skyhawks. The first and the last one are pretty good. And then of course when you run into the F-16s and the better versions of the F-4s. But in general, I don't think it's worth it to buy a high tier prop when it comes to Israel. Then we have the F4EJ Phantom, which is probably one of the worst premiums that you can buy overall. However, it also negates the entire top tier grind for Japan. So it is good in that sense. It's the best pick when it comes to high tier Japanese grinding. However, the plane itself isn't necessarily very good. The other issue with it is there's really not much to get right now other than the F-16AJ, which is one of the best F-16s in the game. However, that's all there is, and there's plenty of F-16s which come pretty close to it, so you are much better off in other tech trees. But if you want to get something for in the future, when Japan maybe gets F-15s, or perhaps something like the Mitsubishi F2, I would say if you're waiting for a plane, just wait until they get a better plane on the sale. Then we have the Dora D13, probably one of the best premiums that you can pick up. The German props are pretty good overall, and the D13 is no exception. The full up tiers are a bit rough. 6.0 is not a fun time on this thing, but other than that, the D13 is great. Doesn't turn particularly well, but it's fast. It has pretty decent guns and gets 3 of them, and it just doesn't really compress. It also has the boosted ailerons over the Focke-Wulf D9, which is definitely welcome. Overall, pretty good plane. Not the best, but it's one of the best premiums that you can get. Then we have the F4 Junk. Name kind of speaks for itself. Probably the worst Phantom that you can buy for its BR, whereas the F4 EJ might be slightly worse when it comes to the missile set and the RWR. The F4 UK is even worse when it comes to the flight performance. It has to run the external gun port if it wants to have a gun at all. And let me tell you, it's just not it. It does get pulse Doppler radar, but it only gets AIM-7 E2s. And they aren't all that. I don't think it's a good pickup, and I also think there is just nothing to get right now that's worth it when it comes to top tier Britain. You're better off buying something like the any rank 5, any rank 6, and just talismaning something. You're much better off in the lower ranks of Britain. The second you start getting into props beyond rank 6 basically, there's nothing unique, there's nothing really good. You're much better off flying something like Italy, where you have an F-16, you have the best Tornado, and you still have the AV-8B+. So you are just getting the best of everything, essentially, without having to fly this absolute shit heap of a plane. Then we have the AV-8A. I mean, it's okay. I don't think it's the best pickup for US. However, there's just nothing else right now on sale. So if you really want anything, and you can be asked to wait for something like the sales in December on Christmas, I can guarantee that you are getting something that's actually good then. But as of right now, the AV-8A is a decent pickup for the mid to low tier grind, but it's still a Harrier. It has its limitations. It is a good grinder, and you will be able to also run bombs with the missiles together, and it's just a good package overall. However, I do think there are better pickups. However, they are not able to be bought as of right now, at least not on sale. Then we have the J7D, and I think the J7D is probably the worst thing that you can buy, especially when the A5C is around. And I know I just said this with the FGR, however, with the J7D, you kind of have this issue where the plane, it's a delta wing, but it also doesn't have the engine to back it up. So you are looking at a plane that runs out of energy very fast. It's the 10.3 airframe, essentially the MiG-21 MF, except it's going to be at 11.0 because it gets slightly better missiles. It's not completely dog shit, I'll take it back. It's not as bad as the FGR or the F4J or perhaps the F4EJ, but it's not very fun to fly. There are some planes in the Chinese tech tree that are worth it, something like the J7E, for example, but that's one of the few planes that is worth getting. Other than that, if you're not interested in that, and if you are again future-proofing yourself, wait for a better premium, because this thing will not be it. Then we have the A5C, which is pretty good overall. You won't be able to research or grind higher ranks, but if you buy this thing and then talisman the J7E, you are going to be in a pretty good spot. The T1, I wouldn't buy it. It's a pretty shitty ground attacker. There's really not much I have to talk about here. It's not maneuverable enough. It's not fast enough. It has pretty decent guns, but that's essentially it. And that's it. It's quite a shame. I made a pretty extensive video for today where I basically compared all the rank 7s from the A6E all the way down to the Kavir Kanat. And, well, it's kind of useless now. I will drop it soon, but I don't want to drop it in the sales because it kind of promotes the wrong message. If the other planes do go on sale, I'll of course make another video like this. I don't agree with it as much as you do, but, you know, I don't have any say in this either, so don't shoot the messenger, I guess. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to use a link from any content creator to help yourself out, as well as your favorite CC. And other than that, you'll see me in the next one.